Boy, howdy. I think we're live. Hopefully we're live. Once again, YouTube has decided that I guess it doesn't like my live streams, so kind of kicked me off that first attempt that I tried a couple of minutes ago. But I think everything's working and all live right now. So, today for lunch, I'm going to have a nice big bowl of Frosted Mini Wheats, one of my favorite cereals. You know, every now and then I forget about just how amazing and convenient cereal is. I think we can fit that whole box into this bowl. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we had a nice little fall start this afternoon. I think that's the second day in a row that YouTube just kind of like cut my stream off immediately after it began, but hopefully we've got it everything up and running and working okay today. So this is day 23 of live streaming while at home because we're all locked down for quarantine and everything along those lines. And as per usual, got out for a nice run this morning. It was a really short run, but I was so fatigued and so tired when I woke up this morning. I was absolutely starving. This is my first real meal of the day, so I guess it's appropriate to have breakfast, even if it's not, you know, morning time anymore, but... Ah, my goodness. This tastes so good, and I can feel it working to energize me. Always good to have a nice hearty breakfast in the morning. So any folks out there, I know that cereal isn't really the kind of thing you'd have if you're, you know, an adult, a grown-up, but I'm curious to know out there, how many folks, even though you're not in grade school anymore, still have a big heaping bowl of breakfast in the morning? And I do like that, you know, Frosted Mini Wheats kind of masquerades as a healthy cereal. Like, oh yeah, it's got all the healthy stuff in there. We just had to cover it with a bunch of sugar, which makes it, I don't know, healthy plus unhealthy. That works, right? All right, so as per usual, I'm out on my morning run this morning. Of course it's morning when I'm doing my morning run, because that's a tautology, and we all know how those work, right? So I'm out, and like when I first started, I was dragging so badly. Like, I felt like my body weighed 1,000 pounds, you know? And it got me thinking that, well, maybe I just have low blood sugar. And I know a lot of people ask me about, you know, like blood sugar control, what I do to handle high blood sugar and things like that. And a lot of people, some people even express concerns that, like, I might be developing type 2 diabetes. But I like to think that I've got a decent handle on blood sugar. Probably know a little bit more about it than most folks out there. So I thought I'd talk about like some of the stuff that I do and some of the supplements that I use to, you know, handle high blood sugar, make sure that doesn't affect me too much, and talk a little bit about it because, especially for exercise, I feel like a lot of people kind of don't quite understand the importance of blood sugar and like exactly how to regulate it and everything along those lines, especially for longer endurance events like running marathons, stuff like that. Now, first off, can you see that? It's got a little bit of a glare on it. Oh, get closer. There you go. Kind of like that. So this is a supplement that I found. Nature's Way. It seems to be pretty effective. Let's see. So the way this works is it's kind of like an insulin mimetic. So if you take this, then it should reduce your blood sugar. You usually take it right before, right after having a meal. That'll raise your blood sugar. Instead of spiking up to like 150 or something like that, your blood sugar might only go up to, 120 or 130. So it kind of like blunts the effect of high glycemic meals. Let's see, what do we have in here? Cinnamon is reported to be decently good at controlling blood sugar. Gymnema. There's something in here called Gymnema. I believe Gymnema sylvester is a very strangely named organic herb out there that I don't think it actually does anything to control blood sugar, but I've heard that it reduces your ability to taste sweet things. So if you take Gymnema sylvester, then it'll make you it'll make sweet things less palatable basically. I've also got fenugreek, prickly pear, and bilberry. I don't know about those, but I think the biggest one in here is this stuff called bitter melon fruit. And you'll see bitter melon extract and stuff like that. That is a super powerful insulin mimetic. Like if you take bitter melon extract on an empty stomach, it'll just tank your blood sugar and you'll be laid out flat. Like it's pretty incredible. So yeah, this is one of these things that I carry with me right before I do any restaurant challenges or competitions. I might pop a couple of these just to make sure that my blood sugar doesn't spike super high, and basically that prevents super hard sugar crash immediately afterwards too. But right now, I got a big bowl of sugar and whole grains to increase my blood sugar because I want to be nice and peppy for these live streams. Forgot a couple of folks in the chat already. JP says, afternoon all. You say you eat cereal any time of day? Why the heck not, man? I mean, it's food. Don't let societal mores tell you when to eat your cereal. AJT, you say you have very berry Cheerios. Yeah, I love that Cheerios are coming out with a lot of different varieties nowadays. I think the peanut butter Cheerios are easily my favorite because obviously peanut butter is delicious, but they have all the berry flavors and the honey nut and everything. I think it's kind of cool to see the big variety of different Cheerios and stuff like that. Okay, so moving on. This is a supplement, ketones, that has become a lot more popular over the last couple of years. Now these are beta-hydroxybutyrate salts, I believe. Yeah, we've got beta-hydroxybutyrate complex, calcium BHB, magnesium BHB, sodium BHB, and potassium BHB. This is actually a pretty light supplement. It's also pretty cheap. You can get ketone supplements that cost like $5 per serving. I think this one costs, I don't know, maybe $1.50 per serving. So it's pretty cheap. It's not like it doesn't raise your blood ketones levels quite as much as some of those other more expensive ones. But this is basically like a replacement for caffeine, in my opinion. It gives you a little bit of energy. It's like I could talk about ketosis and ketones and everything like that, but I'm not going to go super deep into the science. That's a rabbit hole that would take a long time to talk about. But this is a great way to increase your concentration and your energy levels for about an hour, without eating, without relying on sugary snacks, stuff like that. So it gives you a little bit of that extra boost in energy without causing a big sugar spike. So this is something that I might take right before workout just to help me like get me into the edge, to give me that little boost to get out the door and everything like that. And it's something that I always carry around with me because like I try not to rely on caffeine too much as a stimulant. Obviously, like it definitely helps out a lot of people, and if you are dragging, but it is something that has diminishing returns, and I don't find that as big of a problem with beta-hydroxybutyrate. Now, one thing about these is that you do need to get the beta-hydroxybutyrate salts or ketone esters. Those are just two different types of ketones. If you think the price tag of BHB salts is pretty expensive, you're probably not going to get ketone esters. I think that's like $20 or $30 per serving. So it's quite expensive, but I hear it's a lot more effective. But this is a great substitute for caffeine, like in the afternoon, if you're worried about caffeine keeping you up too late. And it is a very strange sensation. Like if you've never tried ketones or been on a ketogenic diet, like it is so bizarre to try it the first time. I love it. It's pretty crazy though. Oh my goodness. Now, of course, blood ketones can be kind of a bad thing if you're a type 1 diabetic, I believe. You can get into a state called ketoacidosis where you have high blood ketones and high blood sugar, which is really kind of an unnatural state. Like, you should only have high blood ketones or high blood sugar, because, like, it's very strange. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like, if you do happen to have elevated ketones and blood sugar, then it just feels bad. Like, I don't like it at all. Oh my gosh. Like I said, it has been a while since I've had anything to eat, so I'm super hungry right now. So I apologize if I'm just sitting here eating a bunch of food. Yeah, I think that one thing that I do like about the frosted mini wheats is that, they soak up milk fairly slowly. So, like at the bottom of this bowl, it's a little bit mushy, but then at the top of the bowl, there's still plenty of like dry, like frosted mini wheat nuggets. So you get a good, like it's strange, but you do get a good combination of different textures when you're eating these kinds of foods. EJ, welcome to the chat, says, have you tried a low-carb keto or carnivore diet? I was low-carb for quite a while, a couple of years. I did a short-term, like, really hardcore ketogenic diet. I think it was back in 2014. Like, I was keto before keto was really cool. Yeah, I did keto for a little while to try to break, like, a sugar addiction that I had. I was pretty messed up, coming off of a hard year of triathlon in 2013. Had messed myself up pretty good. So I went on a keto diet to help my long distance endurance sports training, stuff like that. So I definitely know a lot about it. I've got a ketone blood monitor and everything like that, a Precision Extra ketone monitor. And back then, like, you didn't have these kinds of supplements. Like, these things, like, they don't taste super good, but they're not too bad, They taste a little bit funny. But the first exogenous ketone supplement they could buy, that wasn't any of those, like, garbage, raspberry ketones that you can buy that are just useless, don't do anything. But the first brand that came out was this stuff called Keto Force, I believe. And it was really, really bad. It tasted like if you mixed lemon juice with seawater. Like, it was so bad. But I tried it a couple of times. I dropped like $60 or $70 on this little bottle of a liquid concentrate. And, like, it worked, It definitely put you in ketosis. But it was like a shock. Like, it was, oh my goodness. It was like trying to drink vinegar. Very bad. But yeah, I think a low carb diet definitely has its place. Keto diet, not so much. Like I can't encourage anybody to go on a ketogenic diet unless it's therapeutic in nature. Like if you have neurodegenerative disease or if you have epilepsy or something like that, then a ketogenic diet might be good for you. A carnivore diet, that's another one that I can't really get behind. Like no plants ever. I don't know if I can really get behind a diet like that. All right. I know this is ending up being like Livestream the commercial, but this is the last supplement that I use to try to regulate my blood sugar. This is a brand called Generation UCAN. I'm not super dogmatic about brands usually. Like, for these two, they're just kind of like the most cost-effective that I've found, but there are plenty of supplements that are similar from other brands that work just fine. Now, Generation UCAN, the thing about them is this stuff is a product called Superstarch, which is a very low glycemic index form of cornstarch, I believe. Yeah, it's modified cornstarch. And as far as I know, it's the only brand out there that does this kind of supplement. So that's why I use Generation UCAN. And this is great for fueling endurance workouts. Basically because, like, when you're running a marathon or doing a triathlon, you know, you really don't need to have super high blood sugar to really, like... you don't need a super high level of energy and a super high level of exercise output to get to the finish line. You know, you're just kind of like chilling for hours and hours on end. Just cruising, not trying too hard. So really, it's not like you need a super high blood sugar that you get from energy gels and stuff like that, so much as you want to avoid those energy crashes that occur after you take those energy gels. So this is a great way to, like, give yourself a little bit of a pick-me-up without any blood sugar spikes that would lead to subsequent crashes. So if you've ever heard of anybody running a marathon, you know, they usually take an energy gel. And if you do use energy gels, you need to use one every 45 minutes thereafter, at least 45 minutes. Like, if you wait longer than that, you're going to have an energy crash. You're just going to hit the wall. It's going to be awful. So yeah, when I use this, it gives me a little bit of a pick-me-up. It helps me avoid, like, calorie deficits that can lead to hormonal imbalances and high stress levels and stuff like that from endurance exercise without giving you those, like, energy spikes and crashes that you get from typical fuels. So if you ever do want to get into running marathons, it's a brand that I check out. Like, you need to get used to it. You need to get used to the idea that you're not actually going to feel an energy spike. Don't get me wrong. I love those energy gels. They make me feel so fantastic. But using stuff like this, like, prevents me from feeling really awful. So anytime I've used Generation UCAN in marathons, then I've never actually, like, hit the wall at mile 20 like you hear from a lot of people. Let's see, a couple of other folks joining the chat. EJ says you're on a carnivore diet and loving it. Awesome, man. If it works for you, that's great. AJAT says they just created a new cinnamon Cheerios. I guess they are like apple cinnamon without the apple wall. That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. I love cinnamon flavored things. So excellent. As you might have been able to tell, I like cinnamon flavor things. So. Unfortunately, this is one that I don't think it has any actual cinnamon in it. Yeah, it's just natural flavors, which I think is a little bit of a drag. I would have preferred that they had, plain Superstarch with some cinnamon in it instead of just natural flavors, but, you know, whatever. Johnny Styles, how's it going? Good to see you. This is my favorite cereal. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Frosted Mini Wheats. I think it's a classic. There's a reason it's been around for a while. It's because it's dang good. Eric Gunnarsson says, hello, Steve. Good to see you again. What are you enjoying this day? Got myself a big bowl of Frosted Mini Wheats, man. Manic Tricks Wood says, "Yo, Rabbit, how hard was that pancake challenge?" It was extraordinarily difficult. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was way more difficult than I expected it to be. I assume you're talking about the Oceana Grill pancake challenge that I published over the weekend. Yeah, I talked about it a little bit on Monday. Like I said, it was I think it was about 8 or 9 pounds. I figured doing one of those challenges alone didn't look like it was going to be too tough. I saw Adam Morin did that challenge when he was in New Orleans last year, and I think he finished it in just like a couple of minutes. So I went in feeling arrogant and cocky. I was like, yeah, I'll do 2 of them, no problem. And it was way harder than I expected it to be. EJ says, "What's the most amount of sugar you've consumed?" I don't know, man. A lot. I don't track that kind of stuff. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I've ever done 1,000 grams of sugar in one sitting, but it's got to be up there. Like, you know, when I ate 6 cans of cake frosting, I'm sure that was a lot of sugar. Adrian says, "You love mini wheats with hot milk." Ooh, interesting. I could see that. Maybe on like a late fall morning or winter morning, turn it into almost like a cream of wheat stew or a cream of wheat porridge, something like that. That would be pretty good. I could definitely see that. George Stephopoulos, George Stephopoulos, I'm going to say that's probably how you pronounce that, says, "Wow, I actually found you live. I've been a fan for quite some time. Thanks for all the content on your channel." Well, thanks, bud. I appreciate it. You know, I do this, I put this stuff up on YouTube, mostly so people can give me likes and give me positive affirmation. So, oh my goodness. No, it definitely does something good for my ego anytime I hear that. So thanks for watching, man. I'll try to keep up the content while we're in lockdown. AJAT says, "You know, would go great with cinnamon churros, a cinnamon muffin." Yes, of course. And George, thanks for the confirmation. I'm using a super low, super high resolution monitor in front of me that's not quite as big as I'd like it to be, so some of those letters are a little bit smaller than I can read comfortably. Well, as usual, I'm always glad to see folks dropping in the live stream. Always awesome to talk to you guys. I really wish that I could do a little bit more like produced content, but you know, I hope you guys understand. It's a little bit tough nowadays. I can't get out to restaurants, do cool stuff that I would really like to do, but I'm still always happy to do these live streams for folks. So I hope everybody's having a good time. Hope you enjoy the live streams. And as per usual, I got to wrap up this lunch pretty soon, get back to work. Oh my goodness, I feel like I say that too much. Like I just work too hard. Everything like that. Got a couple of last minute questions from the chat. Zepiish says, "Get out the 4 Edwards frozen pies and show them how it's done." Oh man, I'd love to. In fact, I've got... No, I don't have anything under here. I'm just screwing around. That would be pretty great if I had a couple of Edwards frozen pies. They're pretty dang good. George asks, quick question. Do you fast or intermittent fast in between challenges? Not really. I mean, I just eat, you know, if I don't feel hungry, then I'm not going to eat. And of course, before a challenge, I'll tend to like try to get myself in a little bit of a calorie deficit. But after a challenge, you know, believe it or not, if you've eaten 8,000 or 12,000 calories, like going a day and a half without eating is not terribly difficult. So that's how it goes. All right, guys. I really enjoyed today. I'm glad that everyone dropped in. It's always great to say hi. Always great to see what's going on with you guys. And until tomorrow, I'm going to try to keep on keeping on. I hope you guys stay hungry, stay happy, stay healthy, all the good stuff. Social distancing, yada, yada, yada. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. You have a good one.